Hi all, this is Dr. Sage Breslin and this is Wisdom Wednesdays. I've been spending a lot of time on my own in this new environment of mine. And while I have been focusing on what the impacts are of unhealthy relationships, sort of, in real time, I would like to just spend a little time today talking about what the long-term ramifications are of being exposed to toxic or unhealthy relationships, either at work or at home or both. One of the things that I've noticed, because y'all know I was a frequent flyer, unfortunately, and I learned a lot about what it meant to be exposed to toxic narcissism. And a lot about what it took to heal. And even though I feel very grounded, very healthy, very centered with my recovery, I still notice there are things that do creep up. I think one of the things that has been really evident for me is that when you're in an environment where things are really unhealthy, where you don't kind of know your world anymore, where you don't know your truth anymore, where everything feels foreign and unsafe because it's not your reality, right? When you are being governed by somebody else's reality, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what the next moment's going to bring. And I have noticed that I am really hungry to get into my own home. I almost can't wait to open up all these boxes, let everything be put away, let my familiar items be around me. And at first I thought, like, okay, yeah, nobody likes to live in temporary housing. Nobody likes to live in a home where there are boxes everywhere that can't be unpacked because they're about to be moved to yet another place. But I realized it is something definitely more than that. And as I dug into it, as I really started to explore, I noticed it was anxiety provoking not to be able to ground, not to be able to be in my own place. And as I really examined that, I discovered it was tied to what it felt like when I never knew what side was up. And so I wanted to hand that off to you today. I can smile because to me, every time I identify yet another consequence or impact, I feel like knowledge is power, right? I feel like, there's another tendril. Let me just snip that off. The more I know about this process for myself, the more I can then have compassion for myself, and I can move forward to say, like, to that part of me that still exists below the surface, I got you. It's going to be a short time now. And then you will be the queen of your castle. And I know now, in the interim, I can allow myself to unpack that box, get that thing out that does make you feel at home. Unpack a few more boxes, put some of these things in the basement that are just sitting here because it didn't seem to make sense to take everything downstairs. Well, maybe it does. Maybe it does. So for those of you who are recovering or are making your way into recovery from toxic narcissism or unhealthy relationships, bad bosses, whatever the situation may be, just remember that sometimes things do last, and you don't need to judge yourself. You don't need to feel ashamed or embarrassed that, oh my God, this is still bugging me. Just allow that knowledge to drive and inform your self-compassion and maybe even your actions. So this is Wisdom Wednesdays, and the wisdom for the day is give yourself the room for compassion. not just for others, but for you too. This is Dr. Sage Breslin, and this is Wisdom Wednesdays.